Finally, we are done. Finally, I am done. Finally, we about to be done today and then tomorrow, and then it's a wrap. But shout out to y'all who stuck it through with me for this entire season. Those of y'all that's come along the way as well. Shout out to y'all. Make sure to thumbs up the video. And shout out to y'all for last week. The Tesehki, it really was the Tesehki video, but the recap for last week, close to 30,000 views. Shout out to y'all for thumbsing up the videos, dropping comments, sharing, doing what y'all was doing. 8,000 subscribers. Shout out to y'all as well. On the road to 10K with 2,000 away. So if you want to continue to watch me, I got a variety of content. It's not just this stuff, but if you see something you like, hit subscribe, thumbs up the video, drop a comment down below. I'm not going to waste y'all's time because I want to get this done so I can finally breathe. But yeah, let's go. All right, so we get back to this reunion, and we got Ivori where we left off, which was Ivori running up on Dolly. And Dolly sat her ass down and got it banging on her head. As that's happening, Summer's trying to run up and jump in again. But Jaden and Paula come after her, rightfully so. But Lex is over there trying to fight Scotty, and Scotty's like, "What's up? Like, what do you want? Like, what's up? You're weird," and she is weird. But Ivori, she ends up asking Lex if she's good if you want to keep going again, and of course Lex says, "I'm good." She good, but of course now she's moving to who? Her favorite person, her obsession, Jela. Jela, come on, Jela. So Jela gets out there with her. First round gets out there with her. This one, a tie because both of them was swinging. Nothing was really connecting. Security broke that up. Lex obviously wants more because she didn't get to do what she wanted to Jayla in that round. She then keeps asking Jayla for rounds. Jayla's like, what are we fighting for at this point? We just fought, essentially. Jayla, I mean, to this degree, I would fight her again just because. But, I mean, eye for an eye. Jayla's not wrong because she was jumping in the fights. Lex was jumping in the fights, which is what led to Jayla jumping in there. If Lex didn't jump in the fight, she wouldn't have to fight Jayla. But that's why, and that's why Lex wants to fight her. So, I mean, I guess eye for an eye. But they start going back and forth. And Lex ends up saying that you tried to jump me. And like I just said, if you didn't jump in the fights, nobody would be trying to hit you. And she didn't try to jump you for no reason. You came out. You literally came out with your crew to go jump Scotty. You came beelining. You went from the other side. Dolly and Summer was coming this way. You was halfway on the other side of the stage, ran back over there to go jump on Scotty. Why would Jayla sit there and let you jump her friend? Why? Like, come on. Just say you wanted to hit Jayla. Just say you wanted to fight Jayla. Just say you wanted to touch Jayla. That's really what it is. But after going back and forth, they get in there because security ends up moving out the way and letting her get to Jayla. She starts swinging on Jayla. Jayla was swinging back a little bit more than what she was doing in the house. I'll give that one to Lex. It wasn't as impressive, but she definitely got Jayla in that moment. But they headlock until they get to the ground. Jayla bit the shit out of this bitch. And I'm not a fan of the biting. I'm not. Both of them are nasty for doing this. Both of them are wrong for doing this. Jayla biting her and getting bit back. I can't be mad at what's her face for biting Jayla back because, I mean, you did bite her. But Karma's a bitch. Because Lex is screaming, she's biting. She's biting me. Jayla said in her interview with A Connection TV, shout out to A Connection TV, she said she bit her back because you wanted to fight me all season. I'm going to bite you back so you can see how I felt because you came on the show defending a bitch that bit me. Hey, it's fair. It's fair. And you wanted to fight Jayla so bad. You wanted to continue to fight Jayla time and time again for no reason. Jayla had a reason to fight that girl last season. Multiple reasons. You had no reason to fight Jayla. You wanted to continue to fight Jayla all season. And even at this reunion, you wanted to fight Jayla. You got what you wanted. And she bit the shit out of you. Yeah, Jayla got bit in her nose, but that looked like that was it. Lex was bit here. You got what you asked for, Lex. And of course, she crashing out. I was cracking up. It was funny. But Jayla goes backstage. She covering her face because I'm pretty sure it was bleeding. And Lex is sitting there asking for Jela. Where's Jela at? Ahna goes looking for Jela. She's still outside. Lex still outside crashing out. But we get Jazz versus Summer. This was hilarious. Jazmin was in there swinging with their head up. They both swing a while, but Jazmin actually had her head up. Summer was in there head down swimming. And the first time I watched it, I died laughing because I thought Jazz literally like knocked and dropped Summer. But I watched it back to see Ivori because I knew Ivori came up, but I didn't know if she did anything that contributed to this. But as Jazmin was swinging to pop Summer in her face, Ivori walks up super smooth and trips Summer, like takes her legs and legs swiped her. And Summer hit that ground. As Jazmin was that shit had me weak. I was dying laughing. As was Rolly and Natalie. Everybody on the stage was laughing because that shit was hilarious. And guess what? I have no problem with it because guess what? Summer tried to jump Ivori when Ivori was fighting Lex. That's the thing with that trio's fans. They want to get mad. Oh, well, X, Y, and Z's jumping. Did they not come out here jumping people? So whenever they get jumped back, I don't have an issue with it. I don't. You jump me, I'm going to jump you back too. So Ivori got her lick back. But Ivori's over there laughing, proud of her work. I was cracking up with her. Ivori, we're going to get into it. Because I'm going to do one last final video. I'm probably doing it this week of my final thoughts for the season, like my rankings and report cards. Ivori has truly grown on me. Yes, she did what she did, which I do not agree with it. But like I said, I'm in the camp of allowing people to grow, especially when you're young. She's 21. I think she might be 22 years old now. Yes, all of that shit was foul. I'm not overlooking it at all. But to a certain point, you got to start to allow somebody to grow. And from what I've seen from Ivori on this season, it seems like she's truly growing. And I want to give her that credit. And she's not ever going to let somebody play with her. So I get that. But she was laughing at her work. Rolly and Natalie, they was laughing. Dolly was even laughing, which I found interesting. And she was sitting there watching them fight, which I also find interesting. I said it in my live with Legend last week. Didn't say it in the recap. But Dolly sat and watched Lex get beat on by Ivori. Sat there and watched Summer get jumped, essentially, or tag teamed by Ivori and Jazmin. But she ain't moving. But them two so quick to... Funny. That's y'all's big three. But Lex, she's backstage still crashing out, looking for Jela. Everybody's on stage still laughing about Ivori tripping Summer. And Lex is over there getting treatment, crying and whatnot about how she needs that. I need that. Jela bit the shit out of her. And that's what you get. But Janisha, she didn't ask Saucy, like, what's he thinking about the reunion right now? And he says Ivori and Lex got a good one. He said the crowd said that Ivori won. Some of them started booing, saying that they didn't. But Jaden said exactly what I be thinking. They lying. They done told you 3 different stories, just like they done told us 3 different stories and 15 different stories about what happened at this reunion. And as we see, a lot of that shit was not true. So you can't take that audience for nothing. But Saucy was like, right, exactly. Like I saw Lex and Ivori go toe to toe. But Saucy ends up saying that Summer and Jazmin wasn't really needed. Like we didn't really need to see that. But Dolly, she comes out to fight Paula. Interesting, because wasn't she trying not to fight Ivori because she fought Tesehki? But she has all this energy to fight Paula. But they start going, and at this point, it was a tie. But Ivori with that walk up to sock Dolly, screaming. I'm telling you, Ivori won this reunion. If you're gonna ask me my top 3 at this reunion, it is 100% Ivori, Tesehki, and Ahna. Argue with your mama. I said what I said. Those 3 won this reunion. But they were tying, like I said, until Ivori got in there and got them uppercuts. But then they go another round, and it was looking like a tie essentially until Dolly got them uppercuts in. Dolly got some clean uppercuts in on Paula. They ended up going another round. Paula was in there swimming with their head down. Dolly's head was up, and she was uppercutting her shit. Dolly won. They took Dolly backstage. Saucy ends up saying that Dolly tore. Dolly ate that round. She did. She couldn't do it with Tesehki though. She can't, because you can't fight. You can't fight somebody that know how to fight. You can't. But Paula is sitting there talking her shit. But Janisha ends up saying that Paula held her own all season, but Dolly got that one. I agree. But they pretty much fake act like they're gonna bring Tommy out, which we all know Tommy was not there. But the audience and Saucy Santana was excited at the thought of her coming. But Janisha's like, Natalie was just trolling. But Janisha then welcomes Jazmin to the stage, or welcomes Jazmin to the reunion. And she ends up telling her, like, you are what I've been saying all season. And the ones that don't recognize a true baddie don't agree with me. Jazmin is a baddie. Like, aesthetically, internally, even though what she apparently did recently, which is less than smart. But for the most part, Jazmin is a baddie. She's beautiful. She got her own shit going on. She got her own money. She's talented. She dresses well. She always looks right. So that's pretty much what Janisha was saying. But Paula walks off stage because she ready to go get Dolly, and Ivori comes sprinting behind her, as she should, because who's to say Summer's not back there and they try to jump her. But they are now waiting to see what happens as they were talking to Jazmin. And Ivori and Paula, they come back out. Ahna comes out with them as well. And Paula and Ivori, they were sitting down. Then they get up to face smart because they're not trying to get snuck. So they get up from them couches to then walk towards the middle of the stage to face the back to make sure that Dolly or Summer or Lex don't come out there and try to sneak them. So they bring out Emma, Yoshi, and Nunu. Saucy showing Nunu off because Nunu did look good. Janisha ends up asking Emma if her and she says Scotty are cool, and Emma says, yeah, we did that at the house, and Saucy's like, boo, we didn't get to see y'all fight. And he ends up asking, like, who won that fight that we didn't get to see because they strategically did not show it. And Emma's looking like, go ask Scotty. She know who won. We all know Scotty got beat. I'm pretty sure Scotty got her ass beat. The way that they didn't show it, I'm positive she did. But Scotty was saying she didn't get her ass beat. Emma said ever since they called, she said ever since she called Scotty boring, the narrative was pushed against her, and she just didn't want to talk. Like, her just not talking was not her being boring. But like what Saucy said, or like what Rolly said, that's why you came on the show. Like, when you come on the show doing that type of stuff, you can't come on the show doing that, because when you don't want to talk, you're going to be called boring too, which is true. But she was like, you put yourself in that situation, and Emma ends up saying, like, if I kept fighting her over and over again over an opinion, it's kid shit. Did I not say that all season? And Lex needs to hear that, because fighting Jela all season long over some beef that you made up in your own head, a one-sided beef, that is childish shit. Anybody that defends that shit is a child. Y'all are immature. You have no business being over here, which is why I say I block people like y'all. Because, like, we're not on the same mental level. Like, y'all sitting here defending shit like this? No. But Emma ends up saying that she never hated Scotty, and Scotty's like, yeah, I never said that you did. But Rolly was like, you was out here calling her Faye because she was boring. But Emma ends up saying, like, she was just too comfortable in her spot, and Rolly said that's not a valid reason to fight, which it's not. But Saucy ends up saying essentially the newbies come in as viewers, but the OGs do get comfortable feeling like they're bigger and better than the program. Like, go ahead and fight. You need to fight. That's the problem. Y'all think this is all supposed to be about fighting, and that's the problem. That's where it all starts. Coming on the show to fight somebody just to fight, that's why I don't care to watch the show anymore. Like, it's truly... There's no plot. It's just get on here and fight and act like y'all are bad and go to the club. But Janisha ends up saying the newbies brought the energy, and y'all sometimes feel like y'all don't have to do shit. You feel very entitled and think that you're better than them. To a certain degree, that is true. But then again, don't do shit. That's y'all's fault as a production company. Y'all don't set up things for them to do, which they get on the show and think all they have to do is fight. And that's the problem. But Scotty ends up saying, I never felt like I was better than anybody. And Janisha says, like, that's just the way it's coming off. And you could have taken them under your wing. And I'm like, taking who under their wing? That's the problem with this show. The show Baddies, when you think of Baddies, I personally think baddie is somebody that has it together. You don't need somebody to guide you. A real baddie does not need somebody to guide you on how to do things. Yes, you're there to cohesively get money, but you should already know how to get money if you're on the show claiming to be a baddie, in my opinion. You shouldn't be somebody like Summer coming on here with dirty braids, tacky clothes, the same wig. Like, that's not a baddie to me. It's not. Not knowing how to dress, not knowing how to be presentable. That's not a baddie to me. That's not. So coming on here, taking them under your wing, that's y'all's fault, hiring and casting people that don't have it all together. Like, that's not their responsibility. But Rolly ends up saying that her and Tinkerbella were the only two that got to know the new girls or whatever, because they were in the same position, essentially, yada, yada, yada. But the little three, y'all's big three, came back out on stage looking pitiful. Dolly got this ice pack, hand wrapped up. Lex got all this bandages all over her. And Summer looked like Summer, and they look a mess. But Janisha starts talking to Yoshi, and respectfully, I do not care. Did not write anything down. Janisha ends up talking about how happy she is that Nunu got a chance to come and pretty much show herself because she didn't really get a chance last season. Nunu obviously is happy about that as well. She felt like she had to showcase more of her personality. She got to know more of the OGs and the new girls and stand on what she felt, which I do appreciate the fact that we got to see Nunu. She did not talk about Antonio Brown once. I know she said it in that intro, which we know she was doing that to be funny, but she did not mention him. That was my biggest issue with her last season, is how she kept talking about him. I'm like, we get it. Who are you? Who was Shamika Ford? So I'm glad we got to see her. But Nunu said that. Janisha ends up asking her where her and Ahna and Biggie stand, and Nunu says, I love the delusional duo. I love the fact that they stand up for each other and take up for each other. Funny that she said that, because one of them does, but the other one doesn't. But Ahna ends up telling Nunu that she looks sexy, and Ahna said that they're good. Like, they're good, and Nunu agrees. Janisha then brings back Tesehki, who looks good, brings back Biggie, and yeah, they sit back down. Ahna got on Rolly's toupee. But Janisha, she ends up addressing Biggie versus Ahna. What's going on with them? And Ahna says, essentially, I'm hurt because Biggie watched me get jumped. And she was standing there just looking scared. The jumping, I didn't see a jump. But if you really want to keep it real, the tag team was so close together that it could have appeared like it was a jump. So I'm not going to hold Ahna to the fire saying, oh, well, she didn't get jumped. She literally fought Summer, and here come Lex, literally in a split second. So to her, that is getting jumped. Regardless, the whole perspective, the whole point that she's trying to make is, you as my friend, the least you can do is have my back. Biggie did not. We all saw Biggie standing behind a pregnant woman. She was the only one not in the field that was active and able to. Tinker Butler, if she wasn't pregnant, she'd have been in that field. But she was pregnant. She was the only one that was not fighting besides Natalie. Well, Natalie did fight. She didn't fight in the moment to help anybody, but she fought at this reunion. The only person that did not and had a reason to was Biggie. And the reason to do it was to defend your friend who was getting tag teamed. And at the very least, you could have just we're going to get to it. But Ahna ends up saying that, and she ends up saying, my whole thing is I don't need Biggie to fight for me because she can't fight. And she don't fight like that. And Saucy was like, well, I feel like y'all be wanting her to do it. And Ahna says, like, I just don't like the fact that Jela, who I'm just now getting close with, jumped in, but Biggie was over there standing over there and not doing nothing. And Saucy was like, even if he told her, he said, yeah, I told Biggie, even if you're not a fighter, the least you can do is get out there and try and break it up, snatch a wig, swing on somebody. That's all you have to do, which is true. Like me, I've always said it too. My friends fight one-on-one. If it's a one-on-one, I'm gonna let you get it. Anytime you're outnumbered, I'm jumping in. That's the last fight that I was in. The last fight I was in when I was 24 years old was in the club. My boy was in there dancing with this girl. We didn't know that girl had a dude. He came up, swung up on my boy, and his dudes come running in, and we all in the club fighting. Why? Because I'm not going to let my dude get slapped. I'm not going to let nobody that I'm here with going to get jumped. It's just not going to happen. So Biggie standing there allowing shit like that to happen, there's no excuse for that. Anybody that defends it, y'all are shitty ass people and shitty ass friends. But where was I at? The audience, they started booing. And Biggie's like, it's only 3 of y'all booing. I don't care. I'm not mad. You are mad. You're too focused on that audience. That's the problem. You're too focused on that audience. But more people start booing in too. But Biggie's sitting there trying to act like she's not bothered, but clearly is. But Janisha ends up saying, Ahna doesn't think you show up for her when you should. Explain yourself. And Biggie said, I ain't got to explain nothing. I'm not about to keep explaining anything because I'm not a fighter. And then says a psychopath is somebody who does the same thing expecting a different result. I said, that's why you're not in Africa. You keep coming on the show, pulling out the same shit over and 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 over again. Even though, like I said, the show should not be made about fighting, but you know the show is about fighting. So if you continue to come on the show that is about fighting, and there's an instance where you should be fighting and you don't fight, they're going to call you out on it. So if you know you're not going to do that, stop coming. Period, point blank. Stop coming. But Biggie, she ends up saying, stop trying to push me to be that person, and tells Ahna that they're going to talk in private. No, you're talking in public now because it happened right here. It didn't happen privately. So Bobby gets on the mic and tells the fan to get on the mic. And the fan gets on there and says, like, Ahna's 90 pounds and she was out here fighting everybody, fighting Lex's big ass. And they're jumping that little ass girl, and you're not doing nothing. And Biggie's sitting there trying to deny the jumping. And the fan said, "You're scary as fuck. You bad Bill, and we hate you." I said, that was crazy, but okay. But she's not lying. She definitely is scary as fuck. But the next fan gets on there and said, which made no sense. She didn't make no sense. Says, "I don't understand how they let Scotty cop please, but not Biggie. The difference is Scotty don't be copping please. She don't. For the most part, she doesn't. Scotty and Biggie, they say they're not fighters, which we know they're not. Both of them are not fighters. The difference is Scotty will get out there when it's time. She will. And y'all will swear up and down that she didn't want it with Lex. We know she didn't want it with Lex. But she still got off that couch and stood there waiting on Lex, who had the problem, to run up. Lex did nothing. Scotty obviously didn't want to fight, so why would she run up to her? She's not the one with the issue. Lex is. And don't say, oh, well, security was standing there in front of Lex. Security was around Lex when she came out here jumping, sneaking to everybody. And what was she doing? Sprinting to everybody. If she wanted to get to Scotty, she would have got to her. She didn't want to get to her. She was just popping it. But all I said, like I just said, Scotty, she don't want to fight. She's not a good fighter. But when it's brought to her and she's forced to do it, she will do it. She will do it. Biggie won't. And that's all it comes down to. But Saucy ends up saying Biggie was just standing back there, standing way back there. He got up and literally, he just demonstrated exactly what she was doing. But Biggie ends up saying that Scotty gets away with shit. And Scotty says, stop saying that you're, like saying, no, it's not, like we're not on the same page. We're not in the same situation. Stop saying you're not a fighter. Just say you're scared to fight. And that's literally it. She's scared to fight. Because they both, like I just said, are not fighters. Scotty will fight. Biggie will not. But Ahna ends up saying the point is, you don't fight, but Scotty doesn't fight, but she'll break it up. All I asked is for you to break it up, and you didn't do it. But Biggie is still sitting here saying they didn't jump you. Ahna walks off the set upset, and Biggie then tries to go back there to check on her, gaslighting essentially. And Janisha tries to stop her. Rolly goes back there to check up on Ahna, who doesn't want to cry on camera, and Rolly acknowledges that there's a camera right here in your face. And Ahna is pretty much repeating the same thing. I don't want her to fight. I just want her to break it up. And Rolly's like, you're just going to have to accept the fact that she just will not do it, which is true. You just got to expect it. And you got to now accept it, which is why they're not cool nowadays, right now, which rightfully so. Ahna, I might not be a big fan of her, but one thing I will say about her, she is a good friend. And when I say that, the jumping and shit, I can't stand the jumping, but one thing you will say about her is that she will never let her friend get out there by themselves. She will. I'm not a fan of her jumping in the fights and sneaking and shit, but she will always get out there and fight. And like she said, I don't care if my friends are winning a fight. Anytime they're in a fight, I'm going to be in their swing because I ride behind my friend. She sounds just like Legend. Legend be saying the same shit. But it's like, I don't agree with the whole like 2-on-1 shit, but I will respect you for being a friend. Like, you're not going to let me be out here and get beat up. And that's literally what she's saying. But a fan ends up asking Biggie why she had threw a water bottle at her last season. And Biggie's claiming she don't remember. She then walks off the stage scared, thinking that the fans going to get on the stage to try and fight her. But the audience starts clowning her. She goes back to where Ahna is. And Anna's telling her the same thing she just been saying. They're calling for Biggie to come back on the stage. Biggie gets out there and says, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. I don't have to come back. I already done made my money. That's why you're not back on Africa. But she's out there telling the fans to suck her dick and whatnot. And Janisha ends up trying to tell Biggie, or trying to talk to Biggie, essentially. And she's talking about how she don't want to let that, like, don't let that woman come up here, talking about that fan on the stage. That's what Biggie's saying. Because she's scared. Like, literally scared. But Scotty's like, she can't even come up here. Like, what are you worried about? But Bobby ends up asking the audience who wants to confront Biggie face to face, being messy and being petty. But Ahna gets back out there, and what does she do? She defends Biggie, cussing that fan out and everything. I said, Ahna, you better than me. Better than me. She's too good of a friend. But Janisha then brings out that trio again, and they come back out there on the stage, and Tesehki, it's funny that I just said it now. They weren't even on the stage when I said it initially, but they came back on the stage, and like I said initially, that's what they look like. But Tesehki's face when they came out there was cracking me up. But Janisha ends up welcoming them back. Ivori, she ends up asking if Ivori and Lex are good, and Lex was like, Ivori just wanted to fight, and Ivori said that she was cool, so she's cool. Ivori then says, we had to get that out the way because Lex had told me back in Hawaii that if I didn't apologize to her, we was going to have to get that. Ivori said, I'm not apologizing to no bitch. I said, respect. Because I'm not apologizing to nobody either if I don't feel like I'm sorry. If I have nothing to apologize and I don't feel like I'm sorry, I'm not going to do it. So she said, I gave you your 2 rounds that you asked for, and Summer jumped in. Summer sitting there saying, you're the weakest link in it. And she said, you wanted to end it with Lex, but want to beef with me. You jumped in. They love trying to play a victim. Shit, Ivori was fighting Lex, and you jumped in. Why would Ivori not want to beat you? Why? But Ivori then gets up and walks over there to Summer, and Summer don't want no problems. Sitting there talking to him, get out my face. But security ends up walking up, and as they're walking up, Paula's walking up too and tells Dolly to get up. And security starts trying to break that up. Dolly's throwing shit, talking about, I swear to God. And Summer now wants to talk to Ivori. She don't want to fight no more. But we'll get to that in a minute. But Ivori says, all of y'all are weird. I was nice to all of y'all. I fought you talking to Lex, but you was sitting there smiling when I came back when we was in Hawaii, smiling ear to ear. They showed a flashback, and what was she doing? Like all 40, I don't know how many teeth you got in your mouth, but all of them was there. But Summer, she ends up saying that what you did at that premiere, like, why did you do what you did at that premiere? And so Ivori said, I hit Dolly because Dolly hit me in the back of my head, and that's why she bombed on her. But Ivori ends up asking, like, what did I do to you? Like, what did I do to you? And Saucy was clocking Summer. Said, your energy is so different with Ivori than it is with Jazmin and Paula and Ahna and Scotty and Jela. It's true. Y'all want to call out these OGs for picking and choosing. Summer be picking and choosing too. The ones that she know will really do her in, she don't have that same energy. If this was Scotty, she'd have been up ready to swing. If this was Ahna or Jazmin, she'd have been up ready to swing. But since it's Ivori, she want to talk. Like, it's crazy. But, where was I at? Saucy ends up saying, you keep jumping into shit. Ivori ends up saying, pretty much asking if they want to hug it out. Pretty much saying, like, y'all don't want no smoke with me. Like, do y'all want to hug? And Summer's like, I don't trust her because she's scared. But Ivori ends up asking if any of them want to hug. None of them moved because they don't trust her. They know she probably will hit them. But Summer ends up saying, Ivori be cool as fuck. Yeah, because you a fan. But Janisha ends up addressing Lex and Summer versus Ahna and Scotty. And Summer says that she came in wanting to get to know Scotty. Same situation that she said with Jela. But the shit that she did with Natalie was fake as fuck. Scotty ends up saying that Natalie had told her something that might have applied to Rolly, and she ended up telling Rolly about it. But the whole gist of the matter is it was between the 3 of them, and you inserted yourself. Literally, that's how it all started. And I remember stating that back in the day when it happened. And of course, all the trio fans, y'all just like, it's crazy how they say, oh, well, you just back up the OGs. That's the thing. I didn't come into this season liking a lot of these OGs. But me, I always look at it from a logistical standpoint. Regardless if I like you or not, if you're right, I will say that you're right. If you're wrong, I will say that you're wrong. And y'all just want to see the newbies come in here and beat on the OGs no matter what the situation is. And I'm not, if it's a stupid situation, I'm not going to agree with it just because they're going against people that I don't like. Like, it's stupid. But, the whole gist of the matter is Summer don't mind her business, which is why Scotty and Ahna did what they did. And they showed the flashback. But Scotty says, so now look at you. It's not your business. And Summer sitting there saying it is. They start going back and forth. Saucy ends up asking Scotty and Ahna how they got close or whatnot. And Scotty was like, pretty much, I'm cool with everybody. She's like, I'm a duo with damn near everybody up here. Pretty much saying she cool with everybody. She's a genuine person for the most part. But Janisha ends up asking Summer why she's so passionate about their beef. And Summer ends up saying because Scotty brought it up to her. She didn't. Janisha said who? Summer says Scotty. Scotty said no, Rolly did. That's how you know Summer's a liar. Like, she's a liar. Like I wrote, she is a short bus shawty. That's literally what it is. Like, the elevator ain't going all the way up. But Janisha said, let's move on. She then talks about Lex inserting herself into Ahna and Scotty's beef in the house. Lex ends up saying she didn't, but they're not going to jump her bitch. In the show, yes, but on this reunion, you came out here jumping them. Like, that's why they was jumping you. But she ends up saying that Ahna talks a lot, but as far as it goes with the three of them, it is what it is. But Ahna ends up saying, like, I fight every time I need to fight. Janisha says it's not necessarily true. Saucy ends up saying a bunch of stuff that I could not follow, but they start addressing Dolly and Tesehki. Dolly essentially don't want no more smoke with Tesehki. Smart. Tesehki don't care. Janisha then brings out Slim, and to keep it a buck with y'all, I didn't write none of this shit down because The back and forth, the screaming and shit. I'm not going back and forth. I don't care. I don't care. The Cliff Notes. Rolly took no accountability. Period, point blank. Slim was about to cry, obviously. And Rolly tries to deny how close her and Slim were. And Janisha clocked it. And she says, I don't believe that Rolly wasn't cool with her. I believe that you genuinely loved her at some point. But they started going back and forth, a bunch of screaming. Like I said, Rolly's not taking accountability per usual. Janisha don't think that Rolly is a bully, which I'm like, now I can't trust your judgment because what? But Summer gives some bullshit excuse and some bullshit apology as to why she jumped in and said the shit that she said about Slim. Do not accept that shit, Slim. Do not accept it. And Jazmin said, don't believe it. I said, exactly. But Summer sitting there talking about she don't want to talk about nobody's parents and she felt wrong for doing that even though her parents are dead and gone. I'm like, but you still gonna do it. You still gonna do it. And I have no excuse. I have no room for is it empathy? Is that the word I'm trying to say? I don't feel like I have any grace for Summer. That's the word. I don't have any grace to give Summer because Summer is 29 years old. These antics at that age is not okay. It's not okay. But they do their final thoughts, and that was it. And that's the end of an era with me. If you don't know, I call it a baddie hiatus because I'm not going to be doing Africa. Y'all might come looking for it. I'm not watching it. I'm taking a full break. It's going to be a 6-month break from this show. Whether that's permanent or not, that'll be determined the next season. But as of right now, Zeus, Baddies, the main show is not going to see me. I will check out the Baddies Gone Wild. I will say that if you do want to hear from me and want to see what my thoughts are with that, I will be watching that. We'll see how that goes. But to those of y'all that have joined me since 2021, that's when I started my YouTube channel. I think it was around April. I think the first season of Baddies started maybe May. And that's when I started. And I've gotten so many people since then from this show and other shows that I've covered. But those of y'all that's been here with me, it's been a long six seasons, 4 years. Shout out to y'all for thugging it through. All of y'all old and new that have came. I appreciate y'all so much for supporting me. Whether you love me or hate me. Because those of y'all that hate me and don't like me and love to hate watch and troll, y'all support me. Y'all don't realize it, but you do. Dropping a comment, giving the engagement, whether you thumbsing up the video or thumbsing it down, you dropping the comments, you still adding to my revenue over here. You're still adding with pushing me out. So thank y'all too. But those of y'all that really fool with me like that, y'all know we like this. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I don't take y'all for granted. It's been a ride. But yeah, me and Legend gonna be live tomorrow. Movie Bay has a prior engagement tomorrow, so she won't be with us, and Movie Bay ain't watching it no more either. But yeah, if y'all want to talk to us tomorrow as we do the final live, we'll be over there. Turn on your post notifications if you haven't already. If you enjoyed the video, thumbs up the video, drop a comment down below, subscribe, share if you're new. I got plenty of other content that I'm going to be doing. Check out the page, stay locked, and yeah, I'll see y'all next time. Peace.